How's it going, everybody? So today what we're going to be doing is something that I want to do for a while. There's going to be a lot of traffic today. One block beside me, they're having a marathon. So cars like coming by, but then they got to stop and they got to do U-turns, and it's a mess. First thing I want to do is notice here, I got my negative battery thing unplugged. You want to unplug your battery the night before. I'll let past me tell you about that. So. Thanks, future me. You know you talk crap about me all the time, but you know, joke's on you. I'm ruining your life. But right now I got the battery disconnected, the negative terminal, and what I'm going to do is in the morning, I'm going to plug it back in once we're done with the intake. Yeah, let's go back to future me. Alright, well, that was very rude, but whatever. Just a negative terminal. Just because we want the ECU to completely drain the power, so when you turn the car back on or I plug it in, it will reset the entire computer. And you want it to reset the entire computer when you're having the air intake on, because your car's going to notice a lot more air coming through. And if you're just to do it without unplugging the battery, then your car just be like, oh, like we probably have an air leak or something. We got too much air. Versus if you reset the battery and you have it on, it's bringing all that air, so it's like, okay, this is normal. So right before the project, what you want to do is just take a really good high quality picture of your car, just so you can see it before and after. So I got my DS here, so I'm going to take a picture of my DS. Alright, I got the picture out of the way. Now it's our time taking things apart. So first thing I'm going to do is, you remember your little black plastic that you had over the throttle body? Should be 2 screws and it pops right up. Put that off to the side. Start taking apart your air box. This would be the same as if you're about to change the air filter in it. So next we got these vacuum hoses. We got one vacuum hose here, so we're going to disconnect it here, and then from here from the engine. We're going to have one behind the engine, or behind the air sock here, and then we're just going to pick this one up and over. Take this one out of the little clips on the sock, and then we want to loosen the screw that we have right here. First, let's just take off the air hose. Got a bunch of clamps like that. Whatever. All right, now I'm going to take apart the hose in the back. It's not going to come off. Jeez. In that case, I'm just going to start taking off the air hose here, or loosen up the hose clamp. It's a small Phillips head screwdriver, or a small Phillips head screw. I'm using a small Phillips head screwdriver. Make the clamps disconnected, and unplug the sensor here. You guys seen my throttle body video, or the valve cover video? We're practically doing those exact same steps. Can we just pick this part up? I'm going to take this part up and then take this part out. Yeah, let me do that real quick. Loosen the little air dam on the bottom of the air hose, or air sock, or whatever this is called. And everything on here is tight. Well, the clip just fell, but it hit the bottom of the ground and went through the engine bay, so sounds like a problem for later me to worry about. There we go. Oh, losing all these hose clamps. Look at that, and our air assembly is now completely taken apart, disconnected. Now for the remainder of the air box, it looks like we just have this one bolt here. So that one bolt right there, that's the last bolt we need to take out. That one's kind of hidden, so I take the camera to show you. But yeah, remove that one too. And the air box should just come right out. Yeah, that bolt was super crusty, but now the air box is out. So now after you remove your air box and everything, you're going to have a lot of space. You're going to have this one still. That's where it pulls air from underneath the bumper. I want to keep that in there to help kind of guide some air up. But then it's going to pull the rest of the air from in this area. So the next thing we got going on here is we got these hoses because they gave us new hoses. New stuff is always better than old stuff. I'm going to have to remove the whatever you call them. Oh yes, the whatchamacallem. So I took this hose off. So this set gave me 2 hoses, okay? And I put a link for the intake I'm using in the description. But we got 2 hoses. Same up here, one's way shorter. The air sock. So they got this little squishy thing. And we're going to put it on. So the small spot's what's going to go on the throttle body. This is where the intake's going to mount. So I'm going to stick it right there. Okay, so it's 2 hose clamps. They're the same size. So put this on here. You can use an 8mm or a flathead screwdriver. Flathead screwdriver is closest to me, so that's wins. You just want to keep screwing on the hose clamp until the hose clamp gets small enough to where it will clamp around this thing. So you can see, after enough turns, the hose clamp is now just snugly around here to where it's the same size. I'm going to loosen it a couple more turns. Now we got to manhandle it on the throttle body. So you just stick this on here. When I mean manhandle, that was another exaggeration. Kind of just slipped right on. And then now what you want to do is you want to get your, this is actually a 7mm I think. Because I tried to put an 8 on it and it just wasn't happening. So after a good couple turns on a hose clamp, this little red piece thing is fitting in place. The other hose clamp on it, that one's the right side. Oh, I put it on backwards. There's no right or wrong way to put it on. I just like having the actual screw part facing me, so I know, like when I want to go tighten it and stuff, I know it's in like an easy spot or an easy position. I don't have to like worry about going behind the engine or whatever, because that sucks. This intake, as I'm looking at it, there's a little scratch in there. Stick it in the soft here. Whatever this is. There we go. Alright, so once it's in there a good bit, there we go. So once you get it on the little hose thing here, get your flathead screwdriver and then tighten up this hose clamp. So what you want to do is you want to get your hose clamps they got from your old hose like here. You want to put them on. There's no way this is going to tighten it down. And then you want to stick these hoses, even though it's kind of small, on here. So to make it wider, I'm sticking a flathead in the end of the hose. It'll also be a little helpful if you put like some sort of lubricant on it. We're going to make a couple of recommendations so far about this kit. Hose, don't use the factory ones. These are way too loose. I recommend getting the small hose clamps. So the hose for the back one was way too long, so I ended up just cutting it in half with the finest kitchen knife I have available. So the cut's about as smooth as sandpaper. But on the back there's like this plastic hose. And I'm just plugging this hose onto that hose. So I'm going to start now tearing off some of the bubble wrap. Now it's time for this thing, the big box. The big box is my new air filter. But you have a lot of those places here for the air to go into. So you have more area, so it goes all the way around. And you also have air that can go in the center. So what makes these intakes so great is that they let more air in from every angle. But I'm going to stick this part facing down. Now I'm going to get my favorite flat bladed screwdriver. And we're going to tighten this hose clamp down, and then we should be done. Just some notes though. This hose right here, I won't be able to see that well. This hose right here, I'm going to, in the future, just get my drill and drill it out so the hole's a little bit bigger on the inside, make it tighter for that. And I'm going to get 3 new smaller mini hose clamps. Editing the video here, and I forgot to mention, so just a second ago when I'm mentioning, you know, this stuff, tighter for that. And I'm going to get 3 new smaller mini hose clamps. Hose clamps I was talking about was something like these. You can get these at like your local Lowe's. You just use a 8mm for these and a flathead screwdriver and a clamp around the hose. When you're drilling up this hose, I used a 1/2" drill and drill bit, and I drilled that down a little bit, a good, I don't know, probably 1.5 inches, 2 inch, 1.5 inch, in there with the flat or 1/2 inch drill bit, and that made it go onto the hose in front of the, you can't really see the screen, but right in front of the valve cover, that little hose. It made it go on there like it was supposed to. Then I clamped it down with one of these. The hose clamps that were on the actual intake itself, you didn't really need to put a hose clamp on those due to the fact that when the hoses were put on the intake had a special little like nozzle on them to where the hose wasn't going to come off. But I want to make sure I made this note for y'all. Now it's time to button the car back up together, make sure all the sensors I unplugged are plugged back in, and what we're going to do is start it up and see if there's any difference. Make sure there's no air leaks. So it's making a lot of sucking noise from there. Do you hear it? Oh yeah, it's for sure pulling in some air. This thing sounds mean. Alright, and moment of silence. So it's normal driving. I'm gonna drive the street normally. Not too bad, not too bad, right? I'm actually going to go to the right here. My foot's about half throttle right now. Yeah, well this thing sounds mean, so I'll catch you guys back at the house. I think it was worth it. I think it's absolutely worth it to get on your rent car. I do have the 3 liters, so if you have 3.2, 3.5, you know, whatever. Still highly think it's worth it. I don't drive this car all the time. It's a project car. I drive the Saturn all the time. However, you do notice the increase in power in this thing. Like, I'm not talking about I'm not saying it's going to be way faster, but there is a power increase for sure. But if you think about getting one for yourself, I highly recommend it. There's nothing that I can think of where you shouldn't get one. Even if it's your daily driver, I recommend going for it. Yeah, that's all I end up having for you guys for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, please let me know and like the video. And I will put the link down to this exact unit I have. It's for these 6-cylinder Honda cars, Honda motors. You guys know the issue, like this metal pipe here I couldn't figure out, but everything else pretty much got it going. So yep, take the whole engine bay in here now. I think it looks nice. Well, thank you, and see you guys in the next video.